regret. It's a regret, but not in the way that people would think, because that's a song that I actually didn't write. Those are not my words. It leaked like days after I did it, but he promised me that wouldn't happen, so it leaked. And that was that, and I protected him.
At 42, Keri Hilson just finally confirmed what fans have feared all along, and now many are wondering if she's truly okay.
And I protected him. I protected the girl that wrote it, who went on to become famous. I protected everyone in the story, so I had to eat that. And I am still eating it to this day.
Her struggles seemingly stemmed from her relationship with Timbaland, which turned out to be both a blessing and a curse. While their collaborations launched her solo career, being an artist under his company was a whole different story.
I was young. I was super young. I felt I had no power. I felt I had no choice.
Things reportedly got so bad that Keri ended up taking an almost 2-decade hiatus. So what really happened to make her disappear like that? Let's find out.
Sometimes love comes around.
At the R&B Money podcast, Keri Hilson spoke about her own plan. She said, "I waited almost a decade to do a publishing deal." She could not recall the exact year she signed, but she knew how long she had waited. Offers had arrived early and often. For 8 or 9 years, she had said no. She kept each offer on her desk. She watched her singles pile up on the airwaves. Every time she heard her song play, she felt closer to her goal. She spoke softly, but with pride. She had stayed patient even when people told her to sign faster. She had believed that her time would come.
I'm sure.
It was at least maybe, could have been 10.
While she waited, Hilson did more than just sing. She studied the music business. She read books and asked questions. Donald Passman's book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business, became her guide. She read it from the first page to the end. She underlined the parts about contracts and money. She learned about royalty splits and rights. She asked friends in the industry to explain terms she did not know. She knew that one mistake in a contract could cost her years of work and a lot of money. She spent nights with a highlighter and a notebook.
You remember the Donald Passman book, All You Need to Know About the Music Business?
Yeah.
And like between that and the relationships that I had cultivated over those years, like I would ask questions, I would research.
In 2004, Hilson's patience paid off in another way. She finally signed with Universal Music Publishing Group. She felt a mix of relief and joy. She had waited so long that the moment felt like a dream. She remembered sitting in a quiet office. She held the contract in her hands and read it one last time. She smiled when she saw the company name on the top. She felt sure that this was the right team for her music. She signed with a careful pen and put the papers in an envelope. She called her best friend right after and shared the news.
I knew I wanted to be really, really wise with these permanent decisions because I knew what a deal blowing up looked like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So didn't want to be there again.
Right.
2 years later, in 2006, Hilson joined Timbaland's Mosley music group. She worked with Timbaland, one of the most wanted producers in the business. Working with him opened new doors for her. She wrote songs for big-name artists. She sat in top studios with fancy machines and many people. She watched how a hit record was made, from the first beat to the final master track. Each session taught her more about melody, rhythm, and the art of working with others. She felt herself growing stronger as an artist. In 2009, Hilson released her first solo album, In a Perfect World. She had been shelved for 4 years before the album came out.
Hey, it's your girl Keri Hilson, Miss Keri, baby. My album In a Perfect World is in stores right now. Go get it.
That meant her music had been ready, but her team waited for the perfect moment to share it. While she waited, Hilson wrote more songs about love, heartbreak, and feeling strong. She practiced her verses and her catchy choruses. She tested new lyrics in small clubs and asked fans for honest thoughts. She felt every bit of feedback helped her grow. When the album dropped, fans heard songs like Knock You Down.
Sometimes love comes around.
And Turnin' Me On.
Feel on my booty, better recognize a lady that ain't the way you do me, you're turning me.
The album landed at number 4 on the Billboard 200 chart. It sold 411,000 copies in 19 weeks. The success showed her long wait had been worth it. Each record sale felt like a reward for her years of study and hard work. Each time she heard her song on the radio, she thought back to her desk full of offers and felt proud that she had held out for the right deal. After her debut album came out, Hilson's time with Mosley Music Group ended. She did not explain every detail of her leaving, but she talked about feeling blocked inside the label. She said she lost important friends there. These changes made her unhappy. She felt she could not grow or make music freely. She decided to step back from making new songs. She chose to find a place where she felt safe and happy. She left the label and took time away from big studios and bright lights. There was talk about a split between Hilson and the famous producer Timbaland. They had worked closely together for years. Fans saw them stop making music together on big stages. People guessed they had a fight or a problem, but neither Hilson nor Timbaland said they had a real disagreement. They never spoke out to confirm any feud. No proof showed they argued or stopped being friends. It remained a rumor. Both artists simply moved on to other projects in their own ways. By this time, Hilson faced more than just business troubles. She felt pain inside her mind. Big industry pressure and public eyes made her feel alone. She said she hit rock bottom many times. She felt so low that she thought about leaving music for good. Fans did not know how much she suffered. She could not sleep or eat well. She felt heavy sadness every day. She said these feelings hurt her like a deep cut in her heart. In 2009, Hilson released a remix of her song Turnin' Me On, which included lyrics perceived as disses towards Beyoncé.
If you think that you the best, you can dance, she can sing, but need to move it.
Don't do it to himself.
Hilson later claimed that her label pressured her into recording the track and that she was too young and insecure to refuse. The controversy led to significant backlash and affected her public image. Keri Hilson never wanted fans to think she disliked Beyoncé. She felt hurt when her song remix caused so much trouble. Keri said she did not write the harsh words that seemed to attack Beyoncé. She said others had forced her to sing them. She had not wanted the remix to exist or to be heard by anyone. Before the remix appeared, Keri had worked hard on her song Turnin' Me On. She had already given the world big hits like Knock You Down.
Sometimes love comes around.
And Pretty Girl Rock.
Hey, now do the pretty girl rock, 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 rock. Do the pretty.
So, in early 2009, the original version of Turnin' Me On climbed into the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, reaching number 15. Keri felt proud and excited. She had just come off a long tour where she sang for packed houses each night. After resting for a bit, she went back into the recording studio to write a new verse for a special remix. She expected to add her own fresh words and ideas, words that she would choose and feel proud to share. When Keri arrived at the studio, she saw lines already written on the music sheet. Producers Polo Dodon and Danja stood near the microphone, holding their notes. They told Keri that the verse was finished and ready for her to record. Keri froze. She read the words and felt shock spread through her. The lines talked about telling someone to move it to the left, and many fans believed this was a dig at Beyoncé's hit song, Irreplaceable.
To the left, to the left.
Keri felt torn. She did not want to hurt Beyoncé's feelings or spark a fight. Yet studio staff made it clear she should record the verse. In that moment, she felt forced to pick between her record label's orders and her respect for Beyoncé. Even though she felt upset inside, Keri recorded the verse. She said she did it out of fear that her career might end with one phone call. In her mind, she saw herself as small and powerless. She felt doubt swirl in her thoughts. She worried that if she refused, her work and her chance to grow as an artist would vanish. So she sang the words, even though they did not match her true feelings. She had hoped the track would stay hidden in the studio, never reaching the ears of fans or critics.
It's a regret. It's a regret, but not in the way that people would think, because that's a song that I actually didn't write. Those are not my words.
A short time later, the remix leaked online. People heard the verse and quickly took sides. Some praised Keri for being bold, while others accused her of jealousy toward Beyoncé. Messages flew across social media. Online blogs and message boards filled with hot takes. Wherever Keri went, to interviews, live shows, or even casual events, people asked her about the Beyoncé line. She wanted to shift attention back to her music, but the rumor clung to her name like a stubborn shadow.
I was young. I was super young. I felt I had no power. I felt I had no choice.
For many years after the leak, Keri chose to stay silent. She feared that explaining herself would only make things worse.
It leaked like days after I did it, but he promised me that wouldn't happen, so it leaked. And that was that.
She wanted fans to focus on her songs, not on a feud that she felt had been forced upon her. In interviews, she said she probably could have cleaned it up soon after, but she worried trying to fix the problem might make it explode. She wished the topic would just vanish. So she kept her head down and worked on new music in private, hoping one day she could move past the controversy. With time, Keri learned to be kinder to herself. She looked back and realized she had been a young artist under intense pressure. She had trusted people who told her they held her future in their hands. She felt they controlled what happened to her in the music world. She said she was inexperienced and felt she had no choice but to follow their lead. Now, years later, she understood that she deserved respect and the freedom to speak her truth. She decided it was time to be honest at last.
And I protected him. I protected the girl that wrote it, who went on to become famous. I protected everyone in the story, so I had to eat that. I had to eat that. And I am still eating it to this day.
In a recent interview on the Breakfast Club radio show, Keri finally spoke clearly about the remix. She said that songwriter Esther Dean also had a hand in writing part of the verse. Esther Dean later posted on Instagram to explain that she wrote many options for the remix and that the chosen verse ended up sounding childish and did not age well. Esther apologized for her part, saying she saw how the words had hurt people. Keri added that she had only rewrote 3 lines of Esther's verse and that the other lines were not her own. Both women faced fans who wanted more details or some proof, but they stood by their statements and took responsibility.
She said, I submitted a lot of verses for that remix. One got picked, and it was co-written with Keri. Looking back, it was childish and didn't age well. I see how it hurt people, especially women, and I take full accountability.
Keri has said that this rumored tension with Beyoncé became one of her biggest regrets. In a 2020 interview with Out Loud with Claudia Jordan, Keri admitted that the backlash made her question whether she should continue making music. The pressure and criticism led her to step away from the industry for 9 years. She said she doubted herself so much that she wondered if she had a place in the music world at all.
I'm glad that this is getting some attention now, though, and people do know the real story after all this time.
Despite the hype around the feud, Keri and Beyoncé have since crossed paths with no bad blood. Keri recalled that they ran into each other at a past BET Awards event. Beyoncé greeted her warmly, extending her hand and saying, "Hi, I'm Beyoncé." Keri said she had been starstruck and surprised, but the moment felt respectful. Although Beyoncé often introduces herself to people she meets, Keri said she saw it as a gracious move, a sign that Beyoncé cared about making personal connections. While fans may never hear Beyoncé's full side of the story, Keri's account shows that she holds no anger toward her fellow artist. People talked in 2009 about a fight between Keri Hilson and Ciara. They said that Keri's remix of Turnin' Me On had lines meant to shame Ciara. Both women spoke up to say there was no fight. Keri said the words in her remix were for people who tried to stop her from doing well. She explained that she did not mean Ciara at all. She said she liked Ciara's music and had no reason to attack her. Ciara also said she felt no anger toward Keri. Both singers showed respect for each other and made sure everyone knew they were friendly. In 2011, talk started that Keri Hilson and Missy Elliott were more than friends. A website shared a comment from someone in the music business who claimed that Keri and Missy had dated. Keri went on Twitter to fix the story. She wrote that the rumor was false. She said she had only met Missy about 5 times and had never made a song with her. Keri said she loved and respected Missy's work, but that they were not close. Some stories added that Missy left Keri after a short time, hurting Keri's feelings. Keri said this was not true. She told her fans that she and Missy were just colleagues who admired each other's talent. Both women moved on and kept working on music without any problems. In 2011, Keri Hilson posed without clothes for Allure magazine's annual Nude issue. She sat in a bright studio and let the camera show her natural form.
All of my insecurities honestly went out of the window. The moment I saw the photo, I said, you know what? I'm a woman.
She wanted to help people see all body shapes as beautiful. She spoke about how every person's skin and curves told a story. Some readers praised her courage and said the photos made them feel stronger about their own bodies. Other people felt uncomfortable and thought the images went too far. They said a famous singer had to protect her private life. Magazine writers also argued back and forth in print, some calling the shoot art and others calling it too risky. Hilson listened to all sides, but she did not change her mind. She believed the shoot stood for honest self-love and honest art. In 2010, Keri Hilson released the song The Way You Love Me. The music video included scenes that showed her moving in ways some listeners called too sexy. The song's words also spoke of strong feelings and adult romance. Many critics wrote that she had used these images and words to sell more records. They said she had chosen a fast path to attention by leaning on open talk about desire. Hilson answered these words by saying she meant to send a message of power to grown-up fans. She explained that adults could hear her music and feel free to talk about what they wanted. She asked people not to play it for children. She said the goal was to make mature listeners respect their own choices and speak clearly about love. In early 2020, when COVID-19 first spread across the world, Keri Hilson posted messages on Twitter about a link between the new virus and 5G cell towers. She wrote that she worried the radio waves might weaken the body's defense against germs. Her fans read and shared her tweets, and the messages reached a wide audience. Experts in health and science quickly replied that no proof existed for any link. Fact-checking sites showed studies that denied her idea. Her music team told her to remove the posts, so she deleted them soon after. Hilson later said she had spoken from fear and confusion. She asked fans to trust real research and strong science. She thanked her advisors for guiding her back to caring for true facts during a hard time. On March 27, 2025, Keri Hilson released her new single called BAE.
Damn, I feel so lucky. Love it when you call me.
She used part of the song A Bebe by Hurricane Chris from 2007. That familiar beat made many people smile. On the same day, she told her fans that her third album would be called We Need to Talk. She said it would come out on April 18, 2025. Keri shared many videos online. In these clips, she spoke about coming back to music after a break. She said she did not want to let others control her life or her art. She felt people often did not care about her well-being. She said she loved being herself and keeping control in her own hands. She also said she had many songs ready and could not wait to share them. She talked about the struggles she faced when she tried to speak honestly about her feelings. She explained that she had fought hard to break through these blocks so she could make the music she loved. Later in April 2025, Hilson tried something new. She acted in a Lifetime movie called Fame, A Temptation Story.
The Jordan sisters stick together through thick and thin, even if the dog...
She worked with Keisha Chante, who was a singer and actress from Canada. In this movie, Keri showed her skills on screen. Fans saw her in a different light. They saw she could also bring characters to life in films. This project felt exciting for her, as she moved from singing into acting. Keri's style of music was mostly R&B, hip-hop, and pop. Her first album, In a Perfect World, sounded like pop mixed with R&B and some electro beats. She sang about love, attraction, and feelings. She said the words in these songs were very open and honest. She did not want to sound perfect. Instead, she wanted listeners, especially women, to relate to her. Her second album, No Boys Allowed, showed that Keri had grown more confident. She mixed pop, R&B, hip-hop, soul, and even reggae. She also tried acoustic and electronic sounds. She said this album felt stronger and more sure of itself. A music reviewer wrote that it celebrated women's power. The songs talked about respecting oneself and standing up for what one wanted. Keri's voice sounded smooth and gentle. Some critics said she had a good voice, though it did not stand out like a few other famous singers. Keri said she grew up with music all around her. Her grandmother sang in a church choir. Her father sang in a college quartet. They loved artists like Sada, Anita Baker, and Stevie Wonder. Keri also admired singers such as Michael Jackson, Lauryn Hill, and Aaliyah. These influences shaped the way she sang and the songs she wrote. Outside of music, Keri cared about helping others. In 2010, she joined Akon on the charity song, Oh Africa. The money from that song helped African children who had little chance to go to school. She also sang on We Are the World 25 for Haiti to help victims of the 2010 Haiti earthquake. She performed at a benefit concert to raise money for Haiti relief. She visited schools to talk about the importance of education and earned an award for her work. In 2011, Keri posed for a fashion line that gave money to AIDS charities. She joined projects to stop bullying of LGBT youth, and she spoke out for HIV awareness. She supported Michelle Obama's campaign to fight childhood obesity by making Pretty Girls Sweat t-shirts and working out with young women. During a trip to Africa, she visited orphans who lost their families in a crisis. She gave them book bags, notebooks, and even a small keyboard. In 2012, she joined a book driving campaign so that young people could get free reading materials. Every action showed that she cared about using her fame to help people in need.